why would Manchester United be looking to sell their best players? This stream is not just about Kobbie Mainoo. This is about the whole approach from Ineos right now and what they are trying to do to Manchester United. The Daily Mail have got a lot to answer for in why the United fan base is in complete and utter uproar at the moment. Everyone has piled in on the Kobbie Mainoo situation and news that has broke over the last hour. Apparently, first of all, United have been struggling with contract talks and Kobbie Mainoo cannot come to an agreement. We talked about this about a week ago. Now things have escalated. We go back to Ornstein before the Liverpool game. Kobbie Mainoo is not unsellable. Then the Mail come out today saying that Manchester United are, alongside not being able to tie down Kobbie Mainoo to a new contract, have now got to fend off competition from possibly Kobbie Mainoo's representatives talking to Chelsea. That's moved on again. Kobbie's demands are now on the table, apparently. Again, we're going to break through all of it. We're going to sieve out all of the crap. I'm going to lay the blame somewhere. There are a few different avenues we can go down with this, but we're going to do it properly. We're going to look at everything from top to bottom, including Ineos's look on this. Other players, it's not just about Kobbie Mainoo right now. And just to spin a little bit right at the end, we're going to do some transfer talk as well and some hopeful happenings for Manchester United fans, just to get us a little bit excited anyway. Well, we'll see anyway. But one thing is for certain, Manchester United fans don't want to lose Kobbie Mainoo. I think my friend Saeed has done a show on it already. I think his tweet that went out earlier on was, if United sell Kobbie Mainoo, then everybody will be joining him in the car park waiting outside for Ineos to come out the building. I don't think he's far wrong on that one, do you? Nobody wants to see Kobbie Mainoo go. Nobody wants to see Kobbie Mainoo leave Manchester United. We all want to see our best players prosper. We all want to see our best players looked after the best. And we all want to see everything that can be done by United to make the most out of our graduates and our academy homegrown players done. And you've got to just look at it. So, first of all, I mean, let's just break it down from Kobbie Mainoo's side of things. The whole contract saga and what's on. This has all come about right now. I did a show on this, and people probably, not saying who are watching right now, people don't take contracts seriously enough for me. And this is the problem. Even what the Daily Mail have put down is not correct. I'll go into detail on this right now. And just so you're well aware, and I'm going to do a little comparison here as well, so you know compared to other players what Kobbie Mainoo might actually be on. So right now, Kobbie Mainoo is on peanuts compared to other footballers because, yes, he's not had a full season as a full first team player yet. He's on, check it, right now, Kobbie Mainoo is on 10 grand a week. Yeah, it doesn't seem a lot, does it? So, Kobbie Mainoo right now, that's actually come up to a point. So, the way that the contract worked, at age 17 in 2022, Kobbie Mainoo signed his first professional contract. It was worth £520,000 a year. As you'd expect, at that point, he'd not even seen a United first team. £500,000 for an academy player a year. 10 grand a bleeding week. Like, can you imagine? Like, honestly, we'd all be jumping through hoops, wouldn't we, to get that much money. But yeah, then at 18, 2023, this is where it all starts to come about. Now, there is clearly, I'm looking at it in detail, I've got it up on my screen right now, there is a stipulation within the contract, I think, that if a certain target is hit or he's playing a certain amount of games, the contract then doubles. So right now, Kobbie Mainoo is on approximately, well, he's on just over £1 million a year. So when you break that down, you calculate that basically is double on what he was on originally. So he's approximately earning around about 20 grand a week, according to well-placed websites and factual information online on what's going on. Just want to throw this in quickly before we get into the details of everything and what's actually happening. When you compare this, and everyone's going to say, well, look at what Lenny Earl's on. He's 18, he's just come in. You can understand why Kobbie Mainoo wants this. And the whole push from Kobbie Mainoo's people apparently is just simply because he wants to be recognised and on the same money as a full international first-team player. Look, he's in the England squad. He's an international player. He's played in an international tournament. He is a Manchester United regular. I get it. He hasn't done it for more than a year, though, yet. So I'd just say hold your horses. But we'll go into the demands in a minute. But just as an example, Lenny Earl, 18, brought in by Manchester United. Lenny Earl's wage right now, and it's not what people think, Lenny Earl's wage is 115 grand a week. That's what it breaks down to. Now, there will be stipulations again. There will be bonuses. There is with every player's contract. You don't get all the information. You get the basics. You get what they're definitely hitting. And obviously, when them players do don't make the Champions League, we all know that money then goes down 25%. So I'm not using this as anything against Kobbie Mainoo. I'm not saying that Lenny Yoro's on too much money. I just feel like to get one of the brightest young prospects in Europe with everybody after him, 115 grand a week for the next 6 years isn't bad. So when Lenny Yoro is 23 and we're looking at possibly renewing his contract, he's still going to be on 115 grand a week. That for me is sensible business by Manchester United. And for a teenager just coming in who's unproven in the Premier League, I think that's right. Now, a lot of people would argue that surely that is only fair then to start looking at Kobbie Mainoo, who's also the same age, a little bit younger, yes, but same age, just come through, making his breakthrough season last season. Should he not be on a similar amount of money? And that, in fact, with the amount of time left on his contract, should be where he is as well, or where he is placed within Manchester United's structure and wage structure and what people are actually earning at the club. I can see that. I can see the argument completely, and I understand why people would think it. But I'm going to get through the reports now and go through what's actually been said. So just so you know, that's where we're starting off. That's what Kobbie's on. That's what his contract says. In comparison to another teenager in the same team who he's actually playing less than Kobbie Mainoo. He's on 8 times more than Kobbie Mainoo. So there you go. You can see why the agent is pushing this. And agents is what is pushing this for me and why we have got this problem. But right at the bottom of your screen there, I'm going to go right in on the latest tweet that is actually out there right now. And that is that Manchester United do not want to sell Kobbie Mainoo. That's come from Graham Bailey. Manchester United have no intention to sell Kobbie Mainoo. Manchester United are confident they will eventually tie Mainoo down to a new contract. Now, I'm just going to go through all of the headlines and what has been said regarding this whole situation through the Daily Mail, because they're the ones that have broke the news. They started it out earlier on, and everyone's just been having their say and going in on this from that point. And first of all, it was saying Chelsea are leading the chase for Kobbie Mainoo if he was to leave Manchester United. So everyone's like, what are you talking about? Kobbie Mainoo's not going anywhere near Chelsea. So it then escalated, and more clips from the article coming out from Chris Wheeler came out. Kobbie Mainoo is thought to be at a stalemate over his new deal at United. He had 2.5 years left on his current contract. So Manchester United have got an option to extend Kobbie Mainoo as well on this contract in his last year. So he will be out of contract in 2028. So there is time to negotiate this, and I feel that this is not, this really, in terms of him going to Chelsea, non-story. I feel like this, in terms of Kobbie Mainoo and Manchester United, is a story, because this is what Ineos are looking at right now. And we said this before, like, when you've got Garnacho, exactly the same scenario, some could argue has done more, if not the same, as Kobbie Mainoo. And this is why I think when we were doing the news the other day, when we just looked at Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho signing new contracts and still tied into decent long contracts at United, we're like, why are we even talking about Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho's contracts? Why is Garnacho in on this? He's only just signed a new deal. Well, this is the problem that you get then, because Garnacho's got a Murto and Glazer contract. Kobbie Mainoo's into negotiations with United with Ineos in charge, and we know what Sir Jim Radcliffe's like. There lies the problem right there. So the issue that Kobbie Mainoo's got is that he wants a new contract. He sees what other players are on. He thinks he's worth more. When you're a full international and you're playing regular first-team football, it's not the player that gets to you. It's not the player that's kicking off with Manchester United. And I think we can all make this very, very clear here that this is not Kobbie Mainoo that's driving this and wanting more. We're not going to start labelling Kobbie Mainoo a greedy player and wanting more than what he's worth. You know who the problem is. And I've gone on about this numerous times, and I've banged on and on and on about it all of the time. People running the game of football are not the owners. They're not the sponsors. They're not the players. They're not directors. They're not investors. It's the agents. They're the ones that are running football, and they always will be. I've gone on about it so many times, even with FIFA going to the court for arbitration and sport to try and cap what agents can do and how much they can earn. Even FIFA got blown out by Cas. And that tells you everything and where the power actually is. The agents are the ones that are driving the problem right now. How many times have I gone on about it with Marcus Rashford and his people and his representatives surrounding him? Like, so they're the issue. And if the players fall into it, and you get good agents, you do, but there are bad ones that are just driving that full financial benefit, and it's not always for the player. It's always to line their own pockets as well. When you've got that happening, you get problems like this. You get a complete stalemate between club and player when there doesn't really need to be one. United feel like they've got time to negotiate with Kobbie Mainoo. I agree. I think we have got time. Then the Mail comes out with its latest piece, which says Kobbie Mainoo wants 200 grand a week. The two parties are currently estranged. Like, honestly, 200 grand a week for Kobbie Mainoo? No, he's not worth that. I don't think he is. I really don't. If you want to start talking, like, in between, like, just for instance, like, Rasmus Højlund, 21-year-old at Manchester United, on round about 70 grand a week. Poor old Scott McTominay, who came through the academy, never got past 70 bleeding grand on his contract. So you can see what Ineos are doing. They're looking at this and going, right, we're not going to put players on big wages because when it comes to it and we're looking to sell them, we need to be able to sell them. And obviously they want room to negotiate. I'll ask the chat right now. Do you feel like Kobbie Mainoo warrants 200 grand a week wages? I don't think he does. I really don't right now. But, that's up for debate. We'll open the chat at that point there and then we'll go into more details about this and bring up more to it. But let's get into it. Start with Babs in the chat. Oh, by the way, over 150 likes already. 1,200 people in the room. Thank you very much, everyone. We are 70... Oh, no, we're not. Let's just check how many subscribers we are away from the magical... Yeah, we are 70 away from 70,000. 70 from 70,000. There you go, everyone. Please keep subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It gets you into the live chat as well to get your opinion across. And then, obviously, it will help us grow and we will get to that 70k mark. Keep them subscribes coming in, everyone. Bab starts off with, there should be a performance-related pay structure. End of story. I wish it was that simple. Really do, Babs. I wish it was that simple. Hi, Adam. Was there a fight in the dressing room with Rashford and both being suspended? I don't know what that means. In terms of Kobbie Mainoo and whoever. Are we talking about Mainoo or is it just Rashford? I don't know what that story is. Sorry. It's not there. The join button, but normally it is him. Oh, right, sorry, in terms of the membership. There is a link in the description for the membership section if anybody wants to join the membership. Please do. Some of the mods might actually pop it into the actual chat as well. So just ask and I'm sure the mods will help you out. Until they sort our wage structure, this is going to be a regular occurrence, says Anthony. Charles says, Euro was bought for big money, but how can Kobbie be on more? Kobbie should get the same money as Ugarte. If he is really 200k a week, get him gone, says Jazam. This is the problem that you've got right now. When it comes to what you think Kobbie Mainoo's worth, and let's be honest, if we were talking about Kobbie Mainoo before that Newcastle game when he came on and performed well, and then he's had another good game against Liverpool, when you're on a high, when everything is good and everything's working well, then everyone's opinion of that player is good. He should be on that contract. Simple as. But it doesn't always work that way, does it? It doesn't. He could have been playing he could have been playing bad a few weeks ago, and if you asked everybody then, they've all said no, he's not worth it. None of the players in this squad are worth it. Kobbie Mainoo's not sellable. According to the Daily Mail, Manchester United would prefer to sell Alejandro Garnacho. And there you're looking at. There's the problem right now. It's like all of a sudden you're putting players in different categories. I think this is why the news that Ornstein came out with before the Liverpool game was around Kobbie Mainoo, unsellable. Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho are not unsellable for Manchester United. Nobody's unsellable at Manchester United in the current financial predicament that we're in. It's as simple as that. And you've got to look at what wages are doing to this football club in the first place. And I'm not saying that Kobbie Mainoo doesn't deserve to be on less than everybody else. I think you just have to be real with what's actually happening. The situation is, the situation's a difficult one. Very difficult. And I think Ineos feel like they've got time. The club feel like they've got time. And Kobbie Mainoo's agents are coming in and trying to push this across, trying to link in the likes of Chelsea. And Chelsea would gladly come in and take Kobbie Mainoo. I mean, what's Kobbie Mainoo worth? I put it to the chat. If you was to sell him, what is he actually worth right now in the market? Because United wouldn't let him go for nothing, which is why United, I think, have countered this by saying that nobody is unsellable, because they can do, because the performances are so low. And United are where they are in the league. I don't think any player or any player's agent can say that their player is unsellable to Manchester United. Apparently, the two players that are unsellable are Lenny Yoro and Amad Diallo. That's just a rumour and a word coming out from the club that a few people have touched on social media from journalist accounts and aggregator accounts as well. Nothing concrete on that at all, but that's just a rumour going around. But I just feel like right now, Manchester United set the stall out with younger players when we started bringing them in, and this was before Ineos as well. They weren't going to be on mega wages. When you look at Garnacho, he's on 50 grand a week. Hyland's on around about 65, 70, I think, right now. We just mentioned Lenny Yoro. He's on 115 grand a week, and they're all on big contracts. So I feel like United are trying to set their stall out here, and this is the concern. And we said this before. We said it last season when Kobbie jumped on the scene. Everyone's all of a sudden was talking about Kobbie Mainoo getting a new deal. Are we jumping the gun a little bit? Should we not see a couple of full seasons from Kobbie Mainoo before we give him this big bumper deal? Look, we've got plenty of time. There's no rush in this. Kobbie Mainoo does not want to leave United. Manchester United do not want to sell Kobbie Mainoo. But if push come to shove and the agents get their way, United will have to consider offers for him. And it's the agents that will take this away. So we're all talking here like we don't want to be falling out with Kobbie Mainoo. Leave him alone. It's not his fault and everything like this. Look, Kobbie Mainoo's not going to come out and talk about his contract situation. It's going to be his agent. His agent is the one that's pushing this deal. His agent's the one that's making this happen right now. And unfortunately for Kobbie, they're the ones that are going to be negotiating with Manchester United. Not Kobbie. Just let him concentrate on his football. But there was a rumour as well going around that Kobbie Mainoo is a bit unsure about his future at Manchester United. This started off as well earlier on, talking about he's a bit like, disconnected from the club. He doesn't know which way the club's going or the direction of the club. He doesn't know whether he fits in or not. There was rumours about him speaking Spanish or learning Spanish, yesterday. Some people have said that was just so he's got an option if he does move. Some were saying it's because there's at least 8 Spanish-speaking players within the squad. Just gets you thinking. Gets the rumour mill going, doesn't it? And that's the problem we've got right now. It's that rumour mill, and when it starts to gather momentum, it becomes unstoppable, especially around Manchester United. And I think that's where we have to be very, very careful with what we say. And I've made a point there in the show that Kobbie Mainoo is not pushing for a move away from Manchester United. That's 100% certain. Manchester United don't want to sell Kobbie Mainoo. He is an asset and they want to tie him down to a new deal. And like the reports have said, they are hopeful of agreeing a somewhere in the middle deal. Look, I do believe that Kobbie will get a new deal. I think it won't be anywhere near 200 grand a week unless he turns into an absolute superstar, which is not there yet. We have got serious potential in a player here in Kobbie, but he's not fulfilled it. And I don't think anybody can say he's been very inconsistent this season. A couple of good performances right now help us argue the point for keeping Kobbie and giving him a bigger contract. I've even seen some people in the chat saying he deserves 200 grand a week. No, he doesn't. No player in Man United squad right now deserves it. The only argument you've got for someone like Kobbie being on 200 grand a week is because there's players sat on the bench that are on God knows how many more times money than him that are causing the club all sorts of problems. And there's your only argument. But Ineos don't care. And you have to look at this from Ineos' side as well. And when you do bring Ineos into the equation with this, you have to look at what they have to do to balance the books, to handle PSR and for FFP, financial fair play. They're looking at this and they're going, look, it's not our fault that Manchester United have bought in these players on stupid amounts of money. It's not our fault that we have got all of them players sat on the bench doing absolutely nothing for this football team. They're having to make them big hard, brutal, ruthless calls because of what's happened before. It's not on them, and it's not for us to complain to Ineos about what's happening with Kobbie Mainoo right now. Standards were set before they walked through the door, and they're trying to change them standards every single week, it seems. And that's the argument I want to put across as well from that side of it. It's not like we can go in on Ineos right now and say that they are tearing this club apart. They're looking to sell United's young and best prospects right now. Look at the players that we're possibly talking about. Like Marcus Rashford, 100% profit. Look at Garnacho, 100% profit. Kobbie Mainoo would be 100% profit. This is where United are having to go to balance the books that were absolutely run into the ground by the previous regime. And what are they supposed to do? They have got their own money. They would like to invest into Manchester United, but the Glazers won't relinquish their power. More investment goes in, more power to Ineos, and the Glazers are not at that moment right yet. Ineos have spent more money and invested more money than the Glazers have ever done in over 2.5 decades. And that's a fact. That's there in front of us all. Ineos are not doing everything right. I 100% agree with everybody who is against them on that side of it, and you all know that. But they are in here talking about these situations right now with players that we don't want to lose because of how Manchester United were run into the ground before by the Glazers on their own. And it's a shock to us all. It is that we're even talking like this. But let's not forget, we thought that Marcus Rashford, when he came on the scene, was the best thing since sliced bread. Scott McTominay was a brilliant prospect. All of these players and all of these academy players that have come through after Sir Alex Ferguson left the football club, you can name them. There's quite a lot. Have any of them succeeded? And you can argue, yes, because the regime and the structure and the culture at the football club wasn't the right environment for them to play in. I get that, I do. And I totally understand it and back it. But are we not overhyping academy players too much again? Are we not just making them bigger than what they are? Liverpool wouldn't do this. Liverpool wouldn't be giving, let's just say, Bradley at right back. They won't be giving him 200 grand a week instantly. And some would argue that he's done more for them than Kobbie Mainoo was for Manchester United. Yes, the glitz and the glamour and the goals scored and last minute goals and the goals in the final make it look bigger than what it is. And he's got into the England side. But there has to be a line drawn on what an academy player can earn in his first couple of years, surely. You have to just let him settle in. And let's not forget, like, when Ruben Amorim spends money in the summer and he brings in another midfielder, there's no guarantee that Kobbie Mainoo is going to be the main starter at Manchester United. And this is what people are forgetting. You don't know. Ruben Amorim's new. He's got none of his players that he wants. He's had no transfer window. He's had no money spent on him. He's just dealing with players that had the worst ever Premier League season in Manchester United's history in his squad right now. And he's called them out, and look what's happened. Look where we are. We're even worse off because we didn't bow down to him. It's about time someone stood up to these players or their agents and said, prove it. Let's see your worth first before we actually start spending absolute millions on these players. Look at what's happening right now, honestly. I mean, look where Marcus Rashford is and the problems that he's causing. We should not be jumping in head first into contract situations when we don't need to. There is time. There is time to negotiate and there is time to settle this. And there is no need to panic with Kobbie Mainoo. I want him to stay. The fan base want him to stay. They want him to get better and prove his worth in the Manchester United starting 11. There is no need to be giving him a new contract this season. If his agent tries to force him out of Manchester United, our anger should be at the agent. Because let's be honest, as good as Kobbie was last season in parts, he was still part of Manchester United's worst ever Premier League team. And we can moan about Ten Hag like I do all the time. I don't think it was Kobbie's fault. I would love to see Amorim make the most of him in his system. But like I just said a moment ago as well, there's no guarantee that even Ruben Amorim wants him to be in Manchester United's side. We don't know yet. If we go out, for instance, and buy Edison in the summer, and Ruben Amorim's got Ugarte, who's clearly his player. We know he is, even though we didn't buy him. He's had him before, and he will always play him. He's his number one. And then we go out and buy another number 8, and we are going to go out and buy another number 10 as well. He doesn't drop Bruno next season. Is Kobbie Mainoo a starting 11 player? I'm posing the question because, like I said before, like Kobbie's part of this. No one's safe in this team right now. Nobody is safe in this team. We've said this. But one thing we do know is we know that Ruben Amorim will only play the way he wants to play. And that is with Agati in midfield. If he buys one more, who do you think he's going to play? The academy player? Or do you feel he's going to play the player that he has brought into the football club because he's under so much pressure, under such a time frame to try and achieve at Manchester United? He's going to go in with a player that he trusts more and what he wants to bring into Manchester United, isn't he? And that's where this whole look at this situation changes completely. So, yeah, I feel like everyone just needs to remember that more than anything. And also, like, look, Ineos, this isn't Ineos' fault. This isn't Ruben Amorim's fault. This isn't Kobbie Mainoo's fault. It's his agent. His agent thinks he should be on more money. And in uncertain times at the football club, with where United are and what's going on with the club, I mean, the agent's just trying to protect his client and obviously make sure he's protecting his own pocket at the same time. And that, I think, is how we need to be looking at it more realistically, I feel. I think it is time that we just got to grips with what's actually going on at Manchester United and not got a little bit too carried away with everything and where we're actually at. Keep your comments coming in, 1400 in the room with us. Thank you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like button, everybody. I'm going to get into the comments section right now. Get your comments in, people. Another distraction we could do without, says Stephanie. Definitely. Honestly, the youth at this club are on borrowed time. If they are truly disrespecting the club like this, I don't think Kobbie is. And I want to keep making that point. It's not Mayu that's driving this. You can clearly see it's his agent that's pushing this. This is why the talk in the Daily Mail's come out about Chelsea. It's frightening tactics. That's all it is. We do have a poll running in the chat right now. Do you believe the story that Mayu is asking for 200 grand a week? 55% of you have said yes. Have said no. 27% of you have said yes, and 18 are unsure. I think the 18 unsure is probably the realistic one because they don't know where the stories come from. I honestly do believe that that is where we're at right now as a fan base. It's like, who put this story out? The Daily Mail. Who run it, the Daily Mail? Yes. Going off everything that's happened over the last few weeks. We were talking about, near enough 2 weeks ago about Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho's contracts. It's just the same story. All of a sudden, we've gone in that Kobbie's unsettled at Manchester United. We're hearing them stories. And that Chelsea have come in for him. I mean, I don't believe it. I really don't. I think there is issues within Manchester United right now between Kobbie Mainoo's representatives and the club because the club are standing firm and doing what they should have been doing years ago. Unfortunately for us, it's Kobbie Mainoo, a good player, on the other end of it. And that's the situation in a nutshell, pretty much. What else have we got in here? Let's get into the comments. Jonathan Dayton says, staff getting made redundant, bonuses not paid, charity commitments not met, kids paying 66 per ticket. This looks really bad on the players. No one looks at the agent. Nobody does. And the agents don't give a shit, mate. That's the problem. The agents are the ones that are driving the problems at these football clubs, and they're the ones that need to be capped. Until they're capped, until they can't make certain percentages or make certain amount of money from clubs and sales and using the players, then this is just going to continue to spiral out of control. Buy a bunch of South American players then. They come cheap, work hard, and don't down tools. That's from Modern Samurai. Would he be a starter at Chelsea? It's another point to put out there. Ineos will sell Mayu like they sold Iqbal, Savage, Ghana, and sign another dud. Ineos didn't sell Iqbal, they didn't sell Savage, they didn't sell Ghana. And they didn't buy another dud after selling them players either. That was the old regime, mate. So again, don't blame Ineos for what's happening with Kobbie Mainoo right now. This is a product of everything that was going wrong at Manchester United before. Stand your ground and make sure that these players don't get what they want. This has been the whole look from Ineos since they've come through the door. And they've got a coach which is backing them up on this now on the pitch as well. So this is good. We should see this as a positive as well, I think. I don't want to see Kobbie go. No, I don't. But still, it's good that Manchester United are not just going, oh, yeah, it's another academy player who's done well for 1 year. We need to give him the world. Not one academy player deserves to be on 200 grand a week after one season. Not one. And if you want to count this season in, what's he had? 2 or 3 okay games so far, Kobbie Mainoo? He's better than that. We know he is. And I want him to prove it. And I want him to be here another season at least before we actually start talking about his contract situation. He's going to get nowhere near 200 grand a week with Ineos in situ. He's not going to get it this season. I don't think he's going to get it next. I think United will start to negotiate with Kobbie Mainoo, I feel, in another year's time. I don't think now's the right time. He needs to do more. I'm not having a go at him with this here, but it's time that we stood our ground with these players. They are still all part of what is going wrong at Manchester United, whether we like it or not. I think Kobbie Mainoo will be a great player at United. I do. But I think keep his feet firmly on the ground and keep him where he is right now. I think one more season to make sure that he is the real deal. I think that's fair. I don't think even his agent could complain about that, but they will. Because they can, like I said. Nick Malloy, welcome to the Members Club, my friend. It is the player. If I was a player, I would be reminding the agent he represents me as my agent. Therefore, he carries out my wishes or he stops representing me. Look, this is the way that football has gone. And I said it again, Jonathan. You can say that, and you're right in saying that. But honestly, right now, when you look at what's happening, it's because players have got so used to these agents doing everything for them. It's because they know, and the agents tell them what they can do, that they now just leave it to them. They represent them. So if Kobbie Mainoo is allowing his agent to talk to his football club and talk to the powers that be at United, it's no different than every other player in the Premier League right now. The issue is the actual structure of agents. That's the problem. Because players will just hide behind them constantly. And you're right in saying that. And some fans won't look at it the way that we are right now and his agent trying to get more. I look at it right now and I see Kobbie Mainoo hiding behind his agent because he doesn't want to upset everything that's going on at Manchester United that is good. And honestly, you can't blame him for doing it. And you can moan with the way that things are going at United at the moment. Bad timing is also a big thing in this. It really is. Let's see some more comments coming in. We overpaid for Anthony too. This is now the Ineos period. Stop living in the past. Anthony on transfer list anyways, says Charles. Mark Pearson, exactly. Amorim may bring in another top-class midfielder and Kobbie may find himself on the bench. Let him prove his worth first over a couple of seasons. Yes, Mark, exactly what I said. Another one with vulture voices around him like Rashford. I don't know who Kobbie Mainoo's agent is, actually. Joshua says 100 grand a week is okay for Mainoo. He deserves it. Does he? Not yet, he doesn't. I still want another season out of him. Let's see what he does this season. Because you say what has Kobbie Mainoo deserved his wage that his agent is demanding this season? Does he deserve it? That's what we've got to say. I just say he's doing well. He's doing very well. And there's no mad rush. There is no mad rush. And what's Garnacho going to do if he sees Kobbie Mainoo then earn double what he's on? And he's played more games than him. And it causes a problem. It causes a problem. And it isn't through the club's making. It's the agent and the way that agents have run. And more importantly, the way that Manchester United have been run. And now everybody has just absolutely rinsed us forever and a day. Gifted membership from Tom, and then another gifted membership from Tom. Thank you, my friend, you absolute legend. Silverback Gamer One Beast has just become a member as well. Thank you, my friend. Love that. Keep your comments coming in. We're getting through them now. Mainoo's agents, not the problem. United's wage bill is the problem. The highest earners set the benchmark for the rest of the squad. A problem United not solved for years. No, we haven't solved it for years. And that is a huge issue at Manchester United. It really is. And yeah, like I said, I just want to make sure that everything... I'm just clicking through the news again now, everyone. Make sure we've got everything covered. Yeah, I did want to talk about some other stuff. I did say that Manchester United's transfer situation was going to be discussed in this show as well. I just wanted to make a point of that one quickly, just to update you on all of the other stuff that is floating around Manchester United right now. Manchester United have recalled youth goalkeeper Eli Harrison from his loan spell at Chester. The 18-year-old excelled, and the decision has been taken to recall him with a view to potentially organising another loan away at a higher level for the second half of the season. Interesting. Again, Manchester United doing and working the loan system well, I think, there. Bryan Mbeumo. Would you take Bryan Mbeumo at Manchester United? That's the news I want to move on to as well right now. And 43 million United apparently are willing to pay for Bryan Mbeumo. I mean, is he the type of striker we should be going for? Like, if we're going to pay 43 million for Bryan Mbeumo, like, does that take away a big chunk of our transfer kitty for buying the likes of, let's say, for instance, Victor Gyökeres in the summer? Don't get me wrong, I like Mbeumo. I think he's a great striker. I think he's absolutely smashed it this season at Brentford. But again, it's a decision that Manchester United are going to have to make at one point, because we're not going to be the only ones in for Victor Gyökeres. This is a positive for United again. It is a positive because Bryan Mbeumo's contract is up in a year's time at the end of the season as well. So that's one thing that United can do. He's only 25, so that's good for Manchester United as well. He's Premier League proven, and he has scored a shed load of goals this season for Brentford. In fact, when we look at what Bryan Mbeumo's actually done for Brentford this season, he has just taken over the mantle from Ivan Toney completely, hasn't he? He's got 13 goals and 4 assists in all competitions this season. That is frightening for a team like Brentford. It really is. Consistent throughout the season. Good striker. 43 million. Would you pay that for Bryan Mbeumo? Tell me right now in the chat, everybody. Or are we clutching at straws? We've got a poll running on that one right now as well. Good striker. Very, very, very good striker. Mbeumo is their primary playmaker. He's a primary goal scorer as well, mate. He does play centre forward. He does play on the right wing. Predominantly on the right wing on international duty for Cameroon as well. So, yeah, that's what you need to look at. Gifted membership from Graham as well. Thank you, Graham, on that one. And Mbeumo is quality, says Modern Samurai. He is. He is quality. I think he's a great striker. But is he better? Is he better than what we can get again? It's that mark, isn't it? We are into that realm of like 40 to 50 million pound strikers right now. Honestly, if we're going to spend 43 million pound on Mbeumo, I would still rather go and get Gyökeres for 60 million and spend a little bit more. But there is that added grab from Mbeumo, which is Premier League proven quality. That is hard to get. And with a player 1 year left on his contract, he isn't signing another deal at Brentford. You can guarantee that. Someone, I think, will take Mbeumo. I think Brentford will have to sell him. They cannot afford to let him run his contract down. I think they cash in. I don't think he signs a new deal. And I think in the summer, Mbeumo, on cheaper wages, Premier League proven goal scorer, still young, another 6 years, 7 years at the top level, proven at the top level, like I said, he's got to be in the reckoning. But good for United that we're actually looking at other options as well. And we have got backups. Like, honestly, like, if it looks like United have got no chance and it's going to be a long drawn-out saga through the summer for Victor Gyökeres, and we have to get another striker in, then maybe this is the avenue that we go down. Maybe this is where we're actually going right now. 67 likes in the bag, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the show. Keep them likes coming in. We have a super chat in from Alex who says, do you think a footballer should get paid by performance? Of course I do, but it's never going to happen. That's what their bonuses are for. Heaven forbid you would tell a player that he has to perform to earn his basic wages. My God. Or should be reviewed every 3 months on salary like an investment banking firm job. If only the football world was like the normal world, mate. That's what I would say. It isn't, and it never will be, sadly. And I think fans are the ones that will end up suffering for it. It does make me laugh how some of the players do complain sometimes when they get criticism from the fan base. Like, seriously, these are the ones that are paying all of your wages and you're complaining when you don't perform well. There's a certain level of expectancy at Manchester United, and these players have fallen way, way, way short of it. Standards have dropped dramatically. I know this fan base, if Gyökeres comes in and doesn't score 100 goals in the first game, they will say he's a bust. And Mbeumo would be a good fit. He works very hard at Brentford. Look, work rate is there for all of these players that we're looking at to come in and work under Ruben Amorim. I do think Mbeumo would fit in at United right now. I do think he's the type of player that would work well for Ruben Amorim. I do believe that he could possibly play one of the 10 roles. I do. I think he fits there. Look, he's used to playing on the right wing and playing centre forward. For this season, a lot like going away on international duty for Cameroon, he plays on the right wing. Into the Premier League, he plays centre forwards. I think he actually fits quite well. I mean, keep an eye on that one. Like I said, like 1 year left after this season finishes, you could probably get that price down. Honestly, like if you could get Mbeumo and you could get Gyökeres, I would take both. I think United could actually make it happen. I think Mbeumo would be decent in a number 10 role as well, just because of his natural ability to play out on the right-hand side as well. I think that's key in all of this, and I think it is definitely an option for Ruben Amorim there. And United, as we know, are looking at every possible deal that they could possibly get their hands on right now. And I do think that United... sorry, my notifications are not working again for things popping up. Oh dear. Okay, we have quick update as well, just on the Casemiro situation. Casemiro has been offered a contract worth 650 grand a week in the Saudi Pro League. The league's sporting director, Michael Emanalo, is driving the move to sign Casemiro, and should an agreement be reached with Saudi central deal makers, he would be on course. Oh, I'm just going to open this up a little bit more. He would be on course to join Al Nassr. The Casemiro to Saudi move is pushing ever closer, it would seem. This has just come in the last few minutes, everybody, as well. I think that is absolutely vital in all of this right now. I feel like we are going to see the back of Casemiro. This is going to be one of the big deals that moves on. We covered Marcus Rashford earlier on and covered everything that was happening in that deal. It now looks like we are definitely going to be losing Casemiro as well, but getting money and getting a huge wage off the wage bill. Imagine getting rid of a player who's on 350 grand a week, only to up a player's wage from the academy by 20 times what he's on right now, and taking him in at 200 grand a week. Ineos won't do it. Ineos are not going to buckle under the pressure of Kobbie Mainoo's representatives. They're just not going to do it. And I feel like we're at a stalemate because of that. But I'm confident. I am really confident that United will still get this deal done for Kobbie Mainoo. I just don't think he'll be on the money that his agent hopes he will be on. I think there will be incentives. I think that's right. And I think this is how United need to treat their younger players right now. He should not be on more than what Lenny Yoro's on by the end of this season, I don't think. And I think it opens up a can of worms with the likes of Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund, and I can totally see why United would want to move Garnacho on now because of this. It is an absolute whirlwind right now, this transfer window. Obviously, I will have you completely covered from top to bottom. But I just want to say quickly right now, there is a link in the live chat, and that is for the watch along. We are covering Arsenal against Newcastle over on Football Talks, our other channel here on YouTube. So come and carry the conversation on over there. If you want to have your say, get over there. Yeah, get over there now. You will be transferred across after this stream finishes. So make sure that you get in there, get in the chat, carry this conversation on, please, everybody. The link is in the live chat, so make sure that you click on that. Obviously, then get across there, have your say, and we'll carry on this conversation there a little bit as well. So yeah, that is everything done and covered, everyone. Thank you so much. We are kickstarting in around about, going to be 5-10 minutes time over on Football Talks, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the live show this evening. That is you covered. I'll be back on FUTV at 8 o'clock in the morning. But for now, the conversation continues over on Football Talks. Thank you, everybody. I will see you all over on the watch along in just a few minutes.